Good morning, everybody. Welcome to
Morning.
Padfoot Live Get Training, coming to you from beautiful Butterham State School Oval, where we normally hold our group training classes. I'm James. I'm the head trainer here at Padfoot. To tell you a little bit about myself, I'm an animal behaviourist specialising in both domestic and wild dogs. My background is in working dog training, and I currently manage a team of conservation detection dogs, looking for both native and invasive species.
Hey guys, I'm Courtney. So I have completed the NDTF course here in Australia, so I am a certified dog trainer here, and I've also done some nutrition courses just recently as well. So I used to admin for a big raw feeding group on Facebook, I won't say which one, but for a few years, and then just recently I've decided to make it a little bit more official and get myself certified. So that's my background, it's in nutrition and training. Yeah.
Great, thanks Courtney. Okay, so the point of Padfoot Live Get Training is we wanted to give our wider community a bit of a free resource which allows you to ask us some questions you may be having some trouble with. We'll try and cover a couple of things each week, just to give you a few ideas about things you can do to help your dogs, particularly if you've got young puppies at the moment that maybe you're not able to take to puppy training because of all the COVID-19 restrictions we've got going on. Okay. So one of the things we wanted to talk about first was the question of addressing separation anxiety before it starts. Now, separation anxiety is something we're very worried about post-COVID. The fact of the matter is you've got dogs that are now getting used to being at home with you, and eventually we'll all go back to work. And what we don't want is that to be a traumatizing or unpleasant experience for your dog. So the important thing is, even while you're all at home now, please try and make sure you give your dog some time to themselves. Get them, put them in their crate or in their bed for a bit. Give them a little bit of time out where you're not running around having fun around them and they're locked away. Maybe you're off doing something quietly elsewhere. Maybe you've gone to the shops, or something like that. They can just have a little bit of quiet time to themselves. Also, get them used to you coming and going, and without making a fuss. So don't make a big deal when you leave the house, when you come back to the house. Just the normal phase of business. Go outside, get a bit of fresh air, go for a quick walk for 5-10 minutes, come back in without your dog, without giving them a lot of fuss. So we're not teaching them that it's anything to be worried about. Give them a distraction as well. So give them something to chew on, give them some enrichment. So you can get a Kong, you can fill it with toys, you can get a frozen block and freeze a treat in it, or give them a frozen block of some chicken broth or something like that.
Popsicle.
A popsicle. Anything that they can be, they can be keeping them distracted while they're, while you're away, so they're not worrying about that.
Yeah, giving it a positive association too. Like, hey, Mum's going to go out. Cool, I get my
I
nice
get a treat. Absolutely. Another thing we strongly recommend is deer antlers. Here's one.
Oh, that one's been worked
here.
on.
This one's been worked on a bit. But deer antlers are great. They are just dropped from the deer. They get collected and sold. These things, dogs love them. They don't smell. They're not going to crack or anything like that. They're just hair, basically. And a dog will work on one of these for a very long time. They seem to have some weird obsession with them. I mean, I can't smell anything, but
it's tasty, apparently.
Dogs like
You
them.
could have tried if you're up for it.
Absolutely. If you're bored, if you're anybody trying to quit smoking, just get on your deer antler. And the final thing is crate training. So if you can crate train your dogs properly, and we've got some tips on our website on padfoot.com.au under the blog section on how to do crate training. Dogs really like their crates, so if you can get them really used to it, really happy with them in their crates, then you can actually put them in their crates for a period of time when you're out, to give them a bit of rest time.
Keep them safe if they're not trusted.
Exactly, and in the case of young puppies, give them a bit of enforced, you must go and rest now, because as we know, puppies generally need probably about 20 hours of sleep a day, to help with their growth and so on. Okay, hope that helps. Any questions on that, please just put some comments in on the Padfoot page, and we will try and answer them during the week. Yep. Now the next topic we want to talk about is that of chewing and nipping. Cool.
Yep. Awesome. So for chewing and nipping, guys, this is a big one we get. We get people complaining about their dogs chewing on the wrong things, making a mess, chewing sticks, all of that kind of stuff. So when it comes to chewing and nipping, this is one of those ones where, so James and I, you'll hear us preach throughout this probably a lot, is communicating with your dog really nice and clearly. So dogs need to chew, arguably, puppies especially. They enjoy chewing. Other dogs more than others, you know, it's all down to individual preference. But if your dog enjoys chewing things, we don't want to take that away from them. That's, you know, it's good for their jaw muscles, it's good for their mental stimulation. They just enjoy it. Why do we want to take it away? We just want to make it more appropriate. So if you have a dog that's bringing sticks inside your house and chewing them up, or chewing, you know, your kids' toys, or chewing the leg of the table, or any of that kind of naughty stuff, I mean, our first go-to is always to make sure that we are filling that
need.
Yeah, the need. There we go. Tongue-tied. So we're filling that biological need for these dogs to chew. We're letting them have something that they enjoy, but we want to be making sure that we're communicating what they can and can't have. So if you come inside and you notice your puppy's chewing on the leg of the table, or chewing on anything that they're not supposed to, you know, you're going to come over, give them, you know, say no firmly, take the toy, and you're going to give them something that they can have, right? And then we're going to have some fun with it. Yeah, look how fun this is. This is good dog. Give them a pat while they're chewing it. If you notice your dog chewing the right things throughout the day, I would go out of my way to tell my dog that they're, you know, good choice, good option. Like, yeah, that's something that you are allowed to chew. I mean, yeah. I think we would never say, you know, stop your dog from chewing things. No, I would argue that you need to teach your dog to chew the right things.
Yeah, short and succinct, but that is absolutely the right way to go. They have a need to chew. You know, just as we have needs, they have needs. It provides, you know, a very, very important mechanism in their overall well-being and happiness. You know, all we need to do is teach them what they are allowed to chew. We cannot be teaching them not to chew, because that is just detrimental to their general welfare and well-being.
Yes, yeah, so, exactly. And then, oh, sorry.
No, go on. Yeah.
And then, so for nipping, moving on into that one. So nipping, we find, you know, in puppies, they have to learn that bite inhibition. As we know, dogs, when they play, they mouth and all of that stuff, and it looks a bit rough for us. I mean, I wouldn't want to do that with my siblings, but, you know. They have to learn what a social amount of pressure is, like what is allowed and what kind of hurts the other person or the other dog, all of that kind of stuff. They're not trying to hurt you, but we understand that, especially some puppies, it can be, you know, too intense. You're not enjoying it. No, it's got to stop before they get older and they can start doing some damage. So, I mean, usually it's happening when you're playing or they want attention. I would say, yeah, that's probably going to be generally when it's happening. So, my suggestion that I always give to people to try out first when they've got a dog who's nipping or jumping, any of that kind of stuff for attention and just overexcitement, if the second you feel teeth on your arm, yelp, like really loud. So communicate to your dog like, hey, that really, really hurt, even if it didn't necessarily hurt, right? We're going to make that noise like their sibling mate would, and we're going to get up, walk away, and there's just no attention. There's no punishment or anything like that, but we're going to go, hey, that hurts, I'm done playing now. If you do that, the game's over and you're not going to get any of the things you want. They do quickly learn some manners, because like I said, they're not trying to hurt you. They want the game to continue. They're just trying to learn the name of the game, really, right?
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
what isn't allowed. So again, being consistent with your communication in both of those things.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Chewing and nipping is not dogs being vindictive. It's just what they do, and we just have to help them.
That's great. Thanks, Connie. That was a question that was posed on the Padfoot Facebook page by Carl Leibold. Hope I've said that right. So I hope that helps, Carl. If you've got any further questions, please just put them up on the Padfoot Facebook page, and we'll endeavour to answer during the week.
Yep.
Now, the next question we have is about recall amidst distraction. And this was asked to us by Valencia. Hope I've said that right. Valencia Page, who has Cherry.
Awesome. So, I mean, with recalls, we often, when we start doing them in class and when we start training them, we're sitting our dogs up, they're already focused, they're in work mode, and they're waiting for us to call them in, because hopefully by this point, you know, they're starting to clue on to, we call them and they get a big reward when they come in. But, you know, it's different when your dog's out somewhere and they're sniffing at something on the grass, or they're playing with another dog, or they're watching a bird, whatever it is. Recalling them off of a distraction is something that we have to work for. Like, it doesn't just happen. We have to show them that even though there's something really nice in front of you and really, you know, motivating in front of you, we have something better for you waiting when you come back in. So, I mean, just to start with puppies, if they're in the backyard and they're sniffing around at something, take that opportunity. They're sniffing a patch of grass, call them really enthusiastically. Like, like, come on, and put that treat down, give them a little handful. Don't laugh at me, James. See, but it gets them going, and especially with those puppies, like, it's really exciting. Come over here. Like, I know that smells really nice, but if you come here and come to me, I promise you there's something good. And just building that up slowly. So adding the distraction levels that you're calling them off. When you're having a play date with your puppy eventually, once you've been working on a little bit and they're playing, try to call them out of that play. Don't do it when they're like right in the middle of it and you know they're not going to focus. That's setting them up to fail. But you know, like I said, just gradually build up that impulse control and being able to call them away.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely right. What you've got to understand is you need to teach them about the behaviour and you need to set them up for success. So you've got to build it up. You can't expect to get a young puppy and as soon as they hit 12 or 14 weeks of age, you can take them to the beach and they're just going to come straight back to you.
Because that's not the same.
No, exactly. You need to be building up the levels of distraction. You need to get them pretty much bomb-proof at home without distraction, then take them somewhere where there's a little bit more distraction. So out here on an oval, no other dogs around, but there's still lots of different smells for them, wind, you know, things, you know, for them to be more interested in. Once they're good at that, then take them somewhere where maybe there's other dogs, and just gradually.
I like even, you know, going to the dog park, but not into the dog park. So stay on the outside of the fence there. You're going to have a whole bunch of dogs coming and trying to meet your dog through the fence. Your dog's going to have to focus on you, but they're going to be rewarded for focusing on you and ignoring all of those distractions next to them. And having that fence there means that they can't accidentally go and self-reward.
Absolutely. Okay, so again on that one, thank you, Valencia, and any further questions on that, just ask on the Padfoot Facebook page. Now, our next question was all about socialising a puppy during these COVID times, and that was asked by Vanessa Murphy, who has Ace. What do you think about that, Courtney?
So, socialising is hard during these times, but obviously, you know, the people who are asking this question, they understand that it is important. And for those who don't understand that, it is extremely important. You know, puppies go through critical development phases at certain stages, certain ages of their life. And if you're unfortunate to have a dog at that age right now, you will be having a hard time trying to get all that socialisation in. I mean, the best recommendation I have is, you know, come somewhere like here where there might be other people walking around and you can do some training with some dogs in the background. Because I think the other thing that most people, you know, when they think socialisation, they focus on letting their dogs play with other dogs. And that's great. They do need to learn how to play with other dogs and how to communicate with other dogs. But we can also be teaching our puppies during this time that they can focus on us in the face of that distraction. And that's also going to help with, you know, that kind of recall stuff we talked about just then.
Yeah.
But, you know, building up that impulse control, teaching them that they don't have to go and run over to play with that puppy, you know, like they can ignore it and something good is still going to happen. That helps, you know, with lead frustration and stuff as they get older. Having some play dates. So the Padfoot Ed Zone, all of our clients that are in there, you know, that's a great resource for you guys to use. Get in touch with some other people with puppies your age, similar sizes, all of that kind of stuff. Talk to James and I if you need some suggestions of someone you could talk to. But yeah, meet up for, you know, a one-on-one play date. Obviously, you know, keep with the social distancing rules. No more than 2 people and all of that. But, you know, I think just if we get a little bit creative, there's things that we can do. But I think, to me, it's important to stress that, you know, have them play, have them do the play dates. But there's plenty of places you can go out and walk and see other people and other dogs and just expose them to them and get them used to focusing around those distractions.
Now, obviously, that only applies if your dog is fully vaccinated already.
Yes.
Taking them out before they've had their full bunch of needles is obviously a little bit of a risky play because you just don't know what situation, you know, they may be in. So what you can do there is, you know, talk to friends who you know that has a dog that is fully vaccinated and is therefore safe to be around. Maybe arrange a bit of a play date at home. But the other thing you can do is really start, as Courtney was saying before, is start working on your dog's confidence, overall confidence. You know, so start exposing them to different, you know, things. You can get a child's little clamshell paddling pool and fill it with kind of empty plastic bottles and get them to get in there and retrieve a ball or a treat or something like that. Yeah, anything you can do that actually sort of helps them build up that kind of environmental self-confidence.
Yeah,
you know,
100%.
is a good thing to do.
Yeah, definitely, all that kind of stuff. So I think James and I are going to be working on kind of posting some more content on the page of different exercises and activities along that kind of string vein.
Exactly. Okay, So those are the questions we wanted to cover this week.
Yes.
Now, a couple of other things we wanted to do before we finish up. We wanted to give you, firstly, a masterclass in one of the techniques you'll need to understand as a dog trainer. And it's the art of luring. Now, when we're luring our dogs, we are basically using a reward, using their attachment to a reward to teach them the behaviour, the movement, the position we want them in. Okay? So to do that properly, what we find in our group classes that we run here, a lot of people end up not quite understanding the point of what you need to be doing is allowing your dog access to the treat all the time that they're doing the behaviour. So what you need to be doing is making sure that your dog is actually attached to a treat all the time. Yeah, you've got a treat in your hand and your dog is actively sniffing, licking, mouthing on it while you bring them along. Yeah, they are connected to that. And then you can describe circles, you can make movements with your arm to teach them positional behaviours, which we'll demonstrate in a minute, by having them attached to that. Now, if you're holding it further away from them, all you're going to be teaching them to do is a little bit of frustration and some snappiness. Yeah, if you're holding a treat there, if your dog really wants it and it's a high value treat, they're going to be snapping for it, trying to get it. If they get it, they're going to hurt your fingers. The irony of life is actually that the more of your fist you have in your dog's mouth, the less it hurts. Believe me, it's true. But you're also going to be stopping, I mean, the risk you run is you're actually teaching them to actually snap and nip for treats rather than taking them nice and gently and politely. So what we'd like you to do, and this is what we teach all of our trainees, is basically take your treat. Here's a treat, thank you, Courtney, and basically hold it like so. So hold it between your thumb and your second finger with your index finger extended. Now, what you're going to be doing is basically you can hold this in front of your dog's nose, like so. They're allowed to sniff it, they're allowed to show interest in it, they're not allowed to access it until you inverse your hand. As soon as you inverse your hand, you let them have the treat. Good, yes. Reward that, mark that behaviour. So you're teaching them that they're only allowed to take a treat from an open hand. Now, when you're luring them as well, try and use a long treat. So at the moment we've just got a little small one here. I'll give that back to Courtney. I have another one if you want. Yep, Courtney's going to provide me with a long one.
Oh, there we go.
There we go. Right.
It's a freeze-dried one.
Just so you can give them a little bit of, a little bit of access, a little bit of something to work on. So use this in front of their nose when you're trying to move them into position, to teach them the position as we'll demonstrate in a minute. Hold it there, inverse it, get them actively working on that, nibbling it, chewing it while you bring them along. I've got Buddy here, Courtney's dog, who's going to be demonstrating in a minute.
What is happening?
He's going, why are you waving that treat around? That's my treat. It will be in a minute, Buddy. Okay, so so make sure that while you're luring your dog, they're attached to the treat. Make sure that if they detach from the treat, you stop, you wait, and you get them back on it before you guide them again. Okay?
And also, I mean, while they're attached to that treat, they're getting all of those smells, a little bit of that taste, all of that good stuff that kind of activates some dopamine in their brain whilst they're doing the activity, guys. So that does help a little bit.
Yeah, okay. So what we're going to do now is just give you a quick demonstration of how we'll lure. Courtney's going to use Buddy. Buddy's got an Instagram page, Life and Times of Buddy.
Yes.
The Life and Times of Buddy. So if you want to follow Buddy on Instagram, that's where you can do it. He's legendary. But basically what Courtney's going to do now is just show you how you can use that luring technique to lure them firstly into a come position, then into a heel position, and then into a middle position. Okay?
Ready? We'll start you in here. Alright, so I have him in here. He knows that one, guys. Awesome. So I'm going to start with the come. So nice and simple with this one. I usually like to start with taking a few steps backwards to get clear to them that you want them to straighten up. But the idea is we're going to put that treat on their nose, right? So I'm holding it the way James has showed. I don't know how clear it is on camera. Put it on his nose, and I'm going to drag him in a little bit of like a U shape into the front of me. So, buddy, come. Yes. Awesome. So as soon as he sits in that position, I mark it with his release marker, which is yes. And then he gets his reward for completing that task. The next one I'll do is I will send him into a middle. So this one's a little bit more tricky. You want to have 2 treats out, guys. I recommend dropping the lead if you have the lead on your dog at this point, because it starts to get a little awkward. You'll have things wrapped around you. Alright, so, buddy, heel. Oh, no. Scratch that. We'd cut that if this wasn't live. Buddy, middle. Awesome. So I send him around with this one, guys, and then I pull him through the front of my legs with this one. Yep, so now that he's sitting, yes, good boy, buds. I give him a little bit of a pat. Some dogs might be a little bit nervous in this position to start with, guys, just because we usually try to tell our dogs not to be right under our feet. So I always like to give a little bit of a pat and everything when they're just starting. He doesn't even care, he just wants this other treat. So for a heel, again, I'm gonna move it to this hand just because of where I'm moving him from. And a nice big simple movement for him. I'm gonna get him attached. Buddy, heel. Yes. Awesome. So you can see through all of that, guys, he's following that treat. He understands that I'm communicating to him what I want him to do with that treat. I'll do a spin. That's another good one to show.
So Courtney's just going to get him prepared for a spin. But what you can see there as well is the buddy's a little bit further away from the treat, and that's because he's trained. So I just wanted to highlight that this is a progression of behaviour. So when you're initially teaching your dog this, make sure they actually are physically attached to the treat while you are describing those movements. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Buddy is a pro at this and obviously understands the behaviour without actually having to be attached to the treat. Will he do it attached to the treat? Can you show us that?
He has to be for this spin.
Okay, right, so we'll show the spin.
Awesome. So this one again is just simply him following that treat. Buddy, spin. Yes, good boy, good boy. So another one, again, he's just getting attached to it and he's going to follow it around. He doesn't know this one so well, guys. Yes. So it's a good demo of what it looks like when you're luring. Sometimes you need to slow it down for them to stay attached. Yep. Sometimes you need to make it move faster so they're interested.
Yeah.
Get to know your dog a little bit.
Absolutely. Hi, Buddy. He's looking at me now. He's now expecting me to have some treats. Okay, so you can try working on that. Remember, keep them attached. Help them understand what you're wanting. Making sure you mark the right behaviours with your marker words, your good, your yes. Yeah, when they're doing the right thing. Yeah, making sure that they're really, we're communicating with them exactly what we want as best we can. I've got an antler in my pocket and I've got Buddy sniffing me furiously. That's how much they like antlers.
Yeah.
Okay, the last thing we wanted to cover this week was just teach you a little trick. Courtney's going to demonstrate now. Just a trick of drop with Buddy. Now, the reason we start with this is once you can teach them to drop, there's a natural progression on there, teaching them to crawl, to roll over, to do various other types of tricks.
Fun stuff.
So a little bit of fun for them now. Okay, Courtney?
Awesome. All right. I'll do a little chat first. So when I do the drop, guys, I like to use it initially. Try just using the lure, and I will show you guys how to give them some guidance if they need it. It's important to note that when I say use guidance and when I say apply pressure, I'll tell you exactly where I want you to apply it, all of that. But it really is just guidance. Like, we're not pushing them down into position, guys. Like, we want to be using that food and that pressure to just, again, show them the movement we want them to make, and then they obviously earn their reward. And the second that they do come into position, if you're using the pressure comes straight off. So the same second that you use yes and you give them their treat, the pressure comes off. That's part of the reward as well. We call that negative reinforcement. We're taking away the pressure. All right, so I'll take him out. Again, I like to start the drop from a stand position just because we get some better body mechanics from it. But I'll also show you guys how to do it from a sit if you're really struggling from a drop. Because, I mean, unless you're planning on competing in competitive obedience, and if you are, please let us know, it doesn't matter if your dog drops from a sit. Yeah, cool. Okay, you can see me now. So I'll have him on this side of me, guys, so you can see. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to get down on your knee. I find that easiest. Have this leg up as kind of, a brace almost. What are you doing? Come here. So, come on. Yes, I know. Ready? You don't want to do this? Come here. All the way around. Nope. Alright. Awesome. So, we have them standing, and I want you to use that lure and drop it right down in between their feet. So I'm not going straight down, I'm pushing it back like that at an angle to help him kind of fold back like a lawn chair. Yep, so he does that really, really well without a treat. He knows it without a treat anyway. So to do that with a little bit of pressure, like if you're finding that your dog is just like they're moving their head down but they really don't want to go into that position, we'll use some guidance. Buddy, come on, all the way around. I know this is confusing. in front of their shoulder blades, right? And then we're going to give the command, and I still have that lure. Look, he's looking at it good. Drop. Yes. Good boy. So the second that his elbows and his butt are on the ground, I release that pressure, I give him a yes, and he gets his reward.
Now that was a beautiful demonstration there. What I really liked about that was it really demonstrated how a lot of people, when they're trying to teach the drop, are really trying to push their dogs straight down. What you saw on that last one, everybody there, was a really, really clean fold backwards. Yeah, like a lawn chair, as Courtney just said.
Yes, exactly.
So let's do one more of them just so you can see.
So if you're really struggling with that, guys, and like I said, unless you're trying to compete, it doesn't matter if we do it like this. But you'll see it's different mechanics. Instead of folding back, he's going to crawl forward almost. Yeah. So from a sit, again, thinking with the lure, we're not going to just go straight down. Think about where you want your body to go, where you want their body to go. So, buddy, drop. So I bring it forward a little bit. It's almost on the reverse angle because I want his head to come down and forward.
Yeah. So you just got to think of the angles of how their bodies work. If you watch them, when you see them stretch in the morning when they do their downward dog, or when you see them actually sit themselves down comfortably at the end of the day, you can see they either move themselves forward or back into the sit. And so that's where you've got to make sure when you're luring to teach them the behaviour that you are mapping to those kind of movements. Because if you try and force it straight down, you're simply creating negative pressure. And as Courtney said,
and it's not fun for them to do that. Then
that's when you get to the situation where they just don't want to do it because they're feeling that negative pressure as something that they want to avoid.
Yep. And when you do put it on, guys, I don't put it on top of his shoulder blades. I'm putting it like right when you put it on the kind of back of his neck. You'll feel where their shoulder blades are, and you want to sit your hand in right in front of the shoulder blades, and just so you can just guide right on there.
Great, thanks, Courtney. Yep. Now I can't bear this anymore. I've got this antlers in my pocket. Buddy's been staring at me. So, buddy,
you can have it.
Buddy, here you go. Good boy. So that's going to keep Buddy happy for the rest of the day. That's his payment. We also pay Courtney in antlers as well. She likes to chew on them. So that's all we've got for you this week. Please come to our Padfoot Facebook page, ask any questions, put them up on the event for next week, or just direct message us with any questions you've got. We'll try and cover them off at the same time next week, 8 AM Saturday.
And we won't be as nervous next week.
We won't be as nervous next week, hopefully. Obviously the recording of this will be available if you'd like to recap on the page. But yeah, ask us any questions. We're available, both Courtney and myself are available for private lessons, for nutritional consults, diet plan development, behavioural assessments, walk and trains, and of course, once we're allowed to, we'll be back to training with all of our wonderful group foundation and intermediate level classes
and
right here in Buderim, and training club on the Buderim Mountain State School Oval. Have a great weekend, everyone. Yep. Great long weekend.
Enjoy Mother's Day tomorrow.
Mother's Day. You can actually buy gift vouchers for Mother's Day from padfoot.com.au if you think that your mother would like a better behaved dog or a better understanding with the dog or learn some tricks with her dog or anything like that. Yeah, we've got that available too. So, please join us here again next week and enjoy training with your dog this week. Get training.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. See you.